everybody, welcome to the Shop Shop. So, today's subject, we're going to go through and run through the concept and the ideas of coatings, and as far as it goes for knives. Now, we got work going on in here, so you guys are going to have to bear with what we got going on here. Work's got to happen, regardless of me talking. So, here we go. Over the last decade or so, I think as far as both firearms and the knife industry, we've been exposed to a lot of different types of finishes. You know, I think for the majority of us, a lot of things kind of kicked off in the way, you know, when they kicked off with coatings. We started out with Duracoat. That was kind of early on. You've got Cerakote now. This is a real... You know, the cool part, let me go ahead and start with the coatings as far as Duracoat and Cerakote. The cool part is you can get really wild. You know, you can do a lot of really cool stuff, you know, get real creative. And guys, there's a lot of people out there that are doing an incredible job of this. Our in-house Cerakote guys, phenomenal. And the list goes on and on about guys that are doing wild Cerakote work, okay? Another one here. Okay. And that's the pros. The pros is that it goes on fairly easy. Provides a protection for either your gun or your knife or whatever. The cons to coatings is that it has no molecular characteristics that binds it other than heat to the metal. And in most cases, believe it or not, it really isn't as durable as you would think. A lot of it is, a lot of them like let's just start, Duracoat is not, it doesn't have anything in it to really prevent it from scuffing, so it'll eventually rub off. Then it goes to the next level up, which is Cerakote, which has got a ceramic within it that can then be activated with heat. Which is, it's just one step better, but it's still a coating. Okay, it's gonna rub off. It is going to rub off. Okay, and again, a lot of you guys may already know this, but there's a lot of folks out there, because I get conversations all the time, that just don't understand the ideas of coatings and how things work. And the bottom line is, coatings, all right, are gonna come off in one way, shape, or form. They're eventually gonna wear off. That's just the way it goes. Number 3 on the coating level, which happens to be one of my personal favorites, is powder coat. Powder coat goes on, and God almighty, it is on there. I mean, if you choose a really good powder coat, like from Prismatic Powders or somebody like that, I mean, it goes on there. I like it personally. That's about one of the only coatings that I really like, okay? Then you kind of go to another level of coating, which we refer to as a DLC. Diamond-like coating. It is pretty hard stuff. It'll take a licking. As far as the general coatings go, it'll absolutely take a beating. And again, once you start getting into these chemically bonded coatings, these, you know, DLCs will actually bond to the metal. And there is a series, and there's all kinds of these. There's nitrides, there's just all different kinds, okay? But one of the more popular ones, as of right now, are the DLCs, and there's quite a few of them out there. Then you go from coatings into kind of like the more, you start getting into the more traditional finishes. For instance, for like stainlesses, you can go ahead and do what we're just a tumble or sandblasting. Then another one that we talk about in the knife industry is a patina. There are many different variations of patinas. Almost all metals, stainless steel included, can be patinaed. It is a chemical reaction usually done by an oxidation process that generates a controlled discoloration to the metal. And it's a classic technique. It's been around forever. Blacksmiths have been familiar with it. Blacksmiths do it. Knifesmiths do it. I'm a big proponent of patinas. I like them a lot. One of my favorites outside of just a generic ferrochloride patina is parkerization for knives. As far as your bang for the buck in the way of a finish, parkerization is one of my favorites. It's very inexpensive and it gets the job done. Like this one here, this is a parkerization. Actually, let me go here. Like this one here, this is just black parkerized, okay, and it's been tumbled. You can kind of see right in there where it's got where the edges are starting to come out. And then this one here is tuxedoed. Tuxedoed is another more of a classic finish that we use in the knife industry. But I like parkerization. It's actually one of the more inexpensive ones that really gets the job done. And it can be done, like here's a parkerization process that's been done to our one of our pass seekers. There's a couple of blades that come standard parkerized. That is our Fang, and our pass seeker comes parkerized. The bottom line is that anything that's either chemically put on or coated, it's gonna scratch, it's gonna wear. It's got to do with the level of protection that you want, your personal preference in the way of aesthetically, what you want, but understand as the range goes, the coatings that are not chemically bonded are the ones that are gonna be kind of your, in some cases, your prettier or your more creative ones, but they're weaker in a sense of that's how, as far as their holdup. As you proceed this way, if this was going towards a chemically bonded, the closer you get to the chemically bonded, believe it or not, your patinas are actually, although they're somewhat easier to put on depending on what kind of patina you want, they're usually very durable for what you're doing cost-wise against what you're getting out of it. They do really well. So your ferrochlorides, your parkerizings, your different types of acid etching, which basically boils down to an oxidation process. That's kind of what you're getting with finishes. And again, your finishes types can vary. You can tuxedo, you can tumble, you can sandblast. There's all kinds of variations. If you start getting into more understanding carbon steels, if you don't finish a carbon steel some way, either by buffing or putting some sort of a finish on it, you're opening it up to oxidizing. That's why a lot of the classic knives, A.G. Russell's a really good example of this. Is if I'm not mistaken, he used high carbon steel for a long time, and he buffed the living fool out of everything because that's a form of protecting it. Believe it or not, you buff it. You're putting kind of a hard coating on it that'll help resist oxidizing. So, and that's the enemy. Oxidation is the enemy when it comes to finishes and steels in general. So I hope this kind of gives you guys a little bit of an idea on finishes and coatings and kind of what to look for. If you guys got any questions about this, if you want to go ahead and message me at rob at star15.com, rob at star15.com. No problems. Appreciate you guys. Be careful, stay safe, and we'll see you out there. Thanks for coming to the Chop Shop. Peace.